When most people think about World War II survival gear, their minds jump to bulky tents, soggy canvas and tarps that promise protection but honestly failed as soon as rain hit. Yet, amidst the chaos of battle, engineers quietly created a breakthrough that didn't come from laboratories or secret weapons programs. It came from the loom, a fabric so advanced that soldiers called it the miracle cloth. Ventile redefined what it meant to stay alive in extreme conditions. Today, we're going to explore how this understated innovation saved lives, outperformed every synthetic that came after, and still has lessons for anyone serious about survival. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with a fellow history enthusiast, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Warfront Survival to never miss another deep dive into forgotten wartime ingenuity. By the early 1940s, soldiers weren't just fighting the enemy, they were fighting nature itself. Every front presented its own brutal challenges. In the Arctic, frost and ice turned ordinary canvas into brittle, useless sheets. In the Pacific, relentless humidity stripped waterproof coatings off tarps and tents in mere weeks. Desert campaigns brought scorching heat and dust that shredded equipment. Wet fabric wasn't just uncomfortable, it was deadly. Frozen uniforms caused hypothermia, soaked rations rotted, and disease spread like wildfire. Survival in these conditions demanded more than sheer grit. It demanded innovation. The British Royal Air Force faced some of the harshest conditions of all. Pilots who ditched in the icy Atlantic often had minutes, sometimes seconds, to survive before hypothermia took hold. Standard flight suits and tarps were no protection. They absorbed water like sponges, weighing down men already fighting exhaustion and shock. The need was clear. Something had to give. Engineers in Manchester sought a fabric that could breathe when dry, yet seal completely against water. The result was Ventile, a cotton cloth so precisely woven it behaved almost like a living material. Ventile's genius lay in its simplicity. Using the finest Egyptian cotton, researchers wove fibres so densely, up to 400 threads per inch, that when wet, the fibres swelled and locked together, forming an almost impermeable barrier. There was no rubber coating, no chemical treatment, no plastic laminate. Just cotton fibres engineered to take care of themselves. When dry, the material remained soft, flexible and breathable. When rain or seawater hit, it became a shield. RAF pilots tested the fabric under real conditions, and honestly, the results were staggering. In freezing water, a Ventile survival suit allowed men to stay afloat and functional up to 20 minutes longer than those in traditional gear, a difference that often meant the line between life and death. Ground troops quickly recognized its value. Arctic divisions adopted it for outer shells, appreciating that it stayed supple even in extreme cold, a quality synthetic fabrics of the time could not match. Desert troops wore lighter grades to fend off wind and dust while avoiding overheating. Commandos operating in jungles favoured Ventile because it didn't rot, mould or gain weight when wet. Some units even stitched it into ponchos that doubled as stretchers and ground sheets, creating multi-purpose survival tools from a single piece of fabric. It wasn't just protection, it was practicality, reliability, and innovation rolled into one. Even compared to early synthetics like nylon, Ventile had unmatched durability. Nylon could melt when exposed to heat or sparks. Ventile shrugged off ice, snow, and rough handling. A well-made Ventile garment could last decades without losing its protective qualities, requiring no retreatment or maintenance. It was a marvel of wartime engineering born from necessity rather than luxury. This fabric demonstrates that sometimes the smartest solutions don't require cutting-edge laboratories. They come from understanding materials, physics, and the practical demands of survival. For modern survivalists, Ventile offers more than just historical fascination. It's a lesson in engineering with natural materials. You can recreate its principles using dense cotton or linen. Start with a tight weave, ideally 300 threads per inch or higher. Combining boiled linseed oil with a touch of beeswax and applying it carefully can yield a water-resistant, breathable cloth. Alternately, repeated thin applications of oil on untreated canvas allow fibres to tighten naturally, producing a material that resists water and remains flexible. These techniques won't replicate the exact swelling behavior of Ventile, but they demonstrate the same principle. Understanding fibers, weave, and natural mechanics can give you protection that modern synthetics struggle to match. Ventile isn't just fabric, it's a story of ingenuity under pressure. It reminds us that survival gear doesn't have to rely on plastics, chemicals, or complicated treatments. When engineers combined high-quality cotton with precision weaving, they created something that worked in the cold, heat, wind, and water without compromise. 8 decades later, explorers, military historians, and survivalists still seek it out for its silence, toughness, and reliability. It stands as a benchmark, a reminder that necessity, creativity, and craftsmanship can produce timeless tools. So next time you unzip a waterproof jacket or throw a tarp over your gear, remember the lesson of Ventile. The first truly high-performance fabric wasn't born in a lab. It was born under the pressures of a world at war. Soldiers trusted it with their lives. Pilots survived because of it. And its legacy lives on for anyone willing to understand the marriage of natural materials and clever engineering. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into a forgotten wartime innovation, make sure you subscribe to Warfront Survival, share this video with fellow history enthusiasts, and comment below with your thoughts on the miracle of Ventile. History has a way of teaching us survival in the most unexpected ways. Stay alert, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next episode.